Lone, God bless you today. Hope you're having a great day. It's sunshiny here in Augusta, Georgia, well, Evans, and it's a lovely day. We're expecting like 80-degree weather, I think. And Maria's my guest and co-host today, Maria B. Gallagher, and she's from Pennsylvania. How you doing out there, Maria?
Well, it's interesting. It's my birthday and
Oh,
it's
that's right.
pouring down rain. But you know what they say in the theater world?
Okay.
And that's that if it's raining on opening night, the show is a hit.
Oh,
So
good.
I'm
Thank
hoping
you.
that my year ahead will be a hit.
I would say they say break a leg, but I am never going to say that because I've broken so many bones. I just want to go, you have a good time, y'all. So, Maria, good to see you. I mean, Maria and I have been friends on the air forever, and we are in
Yes.
a lot of groups together. But we love when we get on because Maria is also an extremely talented writer, speaker, and at the end we'll say, please invite her to come to speak at your group. And she's just has a wealth of knowledge. Every time with the Catholic mom groups that are writers, we're all writers. I get to learn so much. And that's why I come with a notepad, which I'm trying to locate as we're talking, and just
Uh-huh.
to glean from what is being said. So you might want a notebook today too. We're going to touch on many subjects. We have three in mind. First, we're going to touch on Maria and her books. Second, we're going to touch on Catholic Mom, and then, well, Catholic Mom third, and Writers Guild. Maria is a part of the Catholic Writers Guild. I am as well. Almost like the person titled The No Show, but I'm going to get more involved because I think it's just such a great group. So
It
Maria,
is.
take it away. What have you been writing lately? I'll get my notes.
So I'm very excited to announce that Marion Press has agreed to publish my latest book, which is entitled Luminous Encounters with Mary. And it is about how we live out the luminous mysteries of the Rosary in our own individual lives. And we draw strength and encouragement and hope from the Blessed Mother so that we can tackle the challenges that come our way. And the luminous mysteries are the mysteries of light. And so they give light to our lives and enlighten us as we travel the path toward God. And I am so grateful for the opportunity to share the luminous mysteries with so many people. I know people have been asking for a book about the luminous mysteries for some time, and I'm glad that I was finally able to complete it. And it's part of a series of books that I have done on encounters with the Blessed Mother. And of course, the book prior to Luminous was the Healing Encounters with Mary. This focused on the sorrowful mysteries of the Rosary, and it provides hope and solace for people who are struggling with their crosses. We all have crosses to bear, no matter where we are in life, but the Blessed Mother can assist us and can make our burdens that much easier to bear. And so I'm very grateful that I was able to write the Healing Encounters with Mary because I think that it's so sorely needed in our world today. Another book that I wrote was Glorious Encounters with Mary. And this is how we live out the glorious mysteries of the Rosary in our lives. And I had the wonderful experience of being reunited with my daughter after 16 years. And it was a tremendous blessing. And I wanted to share that with the world. And so that's why I wrote Glorious Encounters with Mary. And then I wrote the book Mercy's Power, which is a book about how to live out the gospel of life in your own individual life. Many of us are challenged today. We see all the destruction around us, we see the deaths, and we see the hopelessness and the despair. And we want to move forward and we want to find a way that we can emphasize the good in life. And Mercy's Power is that book to give you a guide for incorporating certain works and certain prayers that will help you to build up the kingdom so that it's life affirming rather than death dealing. And my very first book, which is near and dear to my heart, was Joyful Encounters with Mary. And I wrote this during the pandemic. And the reason that I wrote it was because I felt as if there was a shortage of joy in the world. at that time in particular. And I thought to myself, well, what gives me joy? And it occurred to me that my relationship with the Blessed Mother was a source of deep joy for me. And so I wanted to share that with other people. And the books contain reflections, prayers, um, little glimpses of my life, along with some summaries of the lives of the saints and action plans so that you can incorporate joy into your own life. So I have been very blessed that Marian Press has partnered with me for all these books. And they've even given me the possibility of publishing a book on Archbishop Fulton Sheen, who is on his way to beatification. And they asked me if I liked Archbishop Fulton Sheen. I said, of course I like Archbishop Fulton Sheen. He's one of my heroes. And so I'm working on that, trying to get together some research so that I can do justice to his life. So it's really been a remarkable path. And I am so happy that I was able, with the help of God, to become a published author. It had been a dream of mine since I was a little child, and God brought it to fruition. My only regret is that my parents didn't live to see me publish my books.
Everyone's
But I
got
know that they're up in heaven and they're cheering me on from there,
that.
and I feel their presence with me. And so it's been such an amazing journey, and it continues.
Yeah, just love that. I love that Maria was, she was a journalist, and she was working
Mhm.
just like Tamio, I think,
Yes,
Tamio, and she was working in the secular world, and God had to call in her life to go deeper with him and deeper in her what was that degree, deeper in her
yeah,
field, and she did, and she's such a blessing to all the people that want to make the Bible, the Rosary, Jesus, may become real in your life. When someone writes something and you read their story, for some reason, it does something in your heart different than if you just sit there and read John 1. You know,
yes,
first there was like, oh, I think it's very important. So I wanted to say this. I read each one of Mary's books that Maria was given to by the Blessed Mother and by Jesus, and I enjoy each one, and I get to know Maria a little better. We don't always reveal ourselves to each person we meet. We don't say like, hello, I'm Maria and I'm an author and I wrote 4 books. But however, as you read the book, you'll feel like you know Maria, and you'll begin to want and desire to say the rosary daily if you can, and to get to know Mary as mother, friend, sister, and a person that sticks to the front of the cross for you, no matter if you're in good times or bad. Mary is one I always go to, Maria, when I say, well,
yeah,
not everyone can sit at the foot of the cross, but I know Mary and Jesus know how to do that. And I just always love that you can call on her anytime. They never slumber or sleep. People in heaven, the sun doesn't go down because the sun is the Son of God, Jesus himself, the Savior of the world. So Maria, on the books, tell them how you got started. In case I always want to say there might be an author out there. So I feel
yes,
like has a book in their heart, right, that wants to come out.
right.
They don't even know what step to take or what to do.
Sure. So I started writing daily when I was in college, and I was a journalism major in both undergrad and graduate school. I went to Ohio State for my undergraduate degree because I am from Ohio. And then for my graduate degree, I went to Northwestern University in the Medill School of Journalism. And I practiced my craft by working at a public radio station as a reporter, and then for a television station as a news producer, and then for a public radio network as a State House correspondent. Um,
So
for
fun.
radio primarily, and then as a fill-in TV correspondent. And so that's how I learned to write. It was really on the job training. And that initially began when I was in college and I did internships at local TV stations. And that was a wonderful grounding for my work in journalism. And then at one point in my life, I realized that in order to fully live my Catholic faith, I had to get out of the secular journalism world. I felt as if things were stacked against me. There were so many times when I had to do stories about issues that I felt were contrary to Catholic teaching. And I struggled with that. And I had a crisis of conscience, particularly on the pro-life issues. And eventually I decided I couldn't write in that secular world anymore. And so I eventually switched to religious writing and faith-based writing. And it's been a wonderful journey. And back when I was in journalism school, I don't think I would have had the capability to write for outlets like CatholicMom.com. But I think that my experience as a mother has helped me, and my own study of the Catholic faith has assisted me in being able to write articles that proclaim the gospel, especially the gospel of life. And so I would say that if you are an individual who has a desire to become an author, please nourish that desire. Read as much as you possibly can, write as much as you possibly can, get feedback from people you trust, people who are accomplished writers, and interview writers. Find out how they got their start. And you will learn so much that will help you in terms of achieving that dream of publication.
Yeah, so nice. And I don't know where you first went to Marion Press. That was your very first approach, right? To go for publication.
Well, actually
Right.
not.
Okay.
I had gone to a couple of different publishers and gotten rejected.
Okay.
And it seems as if it would be a natural fit.
Okay.
My books about Mary and Marian
Sure.
Press, but I didn't know anything about the publishing industry when I started
Yeah.
out, and I didn't know anything specifically about Catholic publishing. And
Okay.
so I discovered Marian Press on the internet, and I thought, well,
Nice.
maybe they would be interested in these books.
Uh,
And it actually took a year before I heard back from them. So it was a long process. But once I heard back, they said, well, are you still interested in publishing with us? And I said, yes. They said, well, your book is under consideration and we'll let you know. And then it wasn't too long after that, maybe 3 weeks after that, when I actually got my publishing contract.
Oh, awesome. It does, God says, delight in the Lord and he'll give you the desire of your heart. And sometimes you don't know what the desire of your heart really is, but Maria did know. She has her field. And God taught me this, Maria. If we delight in the Lord, he becomes our desire. And so
Yes,
as he fulfills our desire of our heart, it's because he put those desires in there. And it shows in Maria's life that she delights in him and he does open doors, a lot of doors. And I just get so excited because, we've been friends a long time, but only on the internet. One day we meet
yes,
each other, and even the other girlfriends that are on our little group from Catholic Mom meet each other. We'll be like so surprised. It'll be so fun. I did get to meet Anna, you know that. But you know what else, Maria? I think that sometimes your desire of your heart, like you said, you waited a year for Marian Press. It's growing and growing, and then it took a different direction before you got the answer that that blesses the whole world. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to take that first step. And like she said, write every day and then get to know writers. Our group of 5 women from Catholic Mom, we help each other. And I know we do. We go away from our morning phone call once a month. That's very early for some of the people on the West Coast or the midsection. And we have so much fun just being together. Always have a support system, no matter what you're doing, whether it's a writer or if you're a teacher. It's always good to get around people that do the same field. You just grow just being around each other. So Maria, so on Catholic Mom, we'll go to that last. She does write for Catholic Mom and she writes monthly. And now she has another thing that we want to talk about for real for writers. And I think it's for beginner writers too, Maria, isn't it? Catholic Writers Guild?
yes. So I'm so excited about the Catholic Writers Guild. Um, I can't tell you how I discovered it. I assume that it was through an internet search. And once I discovered it, I learned that they did 2 conferences a year. One is an online conference on the internet, and the second one is a live conference, which recently has been held in Chicago, Illinois. And I was so fascinated by what I learned at the Catholic Writers Guild conferences. And if it had not been for the Catholic Writers Guild, I don't think I would be a published author. They have workshops on marketing and platform building, how to build up your social media, and how to write effective nonfiction, which is my field, and how to publicize your writing, how to take part in podcasts, how to
See?
take part in radio and television
I need
interviews.
these teachings, Maria. I need these. No, it's exciting. I didn't know that. See, and so if you're a newbie too, if you're new, you could just go to the conference or get start networking on the internet. Because I do get this. I know this part. A lot of people sign on when they're new. They give a description of what they do and who they are, and you get to know the people before you even meet them in person, right? They do a. I
Yes,
that
yes, they
have
do
not
a lot of feedback. And the other thing too is that the Catholic Writers Guild has its own social media platform on Heartbeat.
heartbeat.
And you can join Heartbeat and join the Catholic Writers Guild platform on there without actually paying dues to the
Okay.
Catholic Writers
The
Guild.
dues aren't that much though. It
The
isn't
the
that
dues are very minimal, but
minimal.
if you want to just become acquainted with the Catholic Writers Guild, that's a good first step. Go into Heartbeat, discover the platform. There are so many different channels with different discussions. There are discussions about books. I recently joined a channel on humor writing, and
Fun.
I'm actually getting ready for the Catholic Writers Guild conference in May in Chicago. I'm going to be part of the comedy showcase.
Oh, fun. Oh, can't wait.
And so
Maria's a
I've
theatrical
written
too.
up
She has
some jokes and I'm raring to go.
fun.
So
I gotta
uh,
get over there.
it's a lot of fun and it's so educational to learn from other writers. And these writers are so gifted. There are some writers, such as the president of the Catholic Writers Guild, Karina Fabian, who has written maybe 40 books and
Wow.
published them on her own. And she's also publishing, I believe, with the Pauline sisters.
Oh, I like,
And I know another author, Jane Lieback, who is a gifted fiction writer, and she's written, I believe, more than 40 books. It's just amazing. I mean, I think I'm doing well with my five, but these people have really outpaced me, and I learned so much from them. And they are so generous in terms of giving you advice and counsel and encouragement and feedback. I am so struck by that because in the secular world, you don't often find that. You find people who are very competitive and very cutthroat, but
you
that's
know,
not true at the Catholic Writers Guild.
and don't you think this too? One of the reasons why writing is not a competitive sport like, tennis or
Right.
golf is because you're not gonna be writing the same things about the Rosa Maria. She gives personal testimony of what happened in her own life. So it's kind of not a competition. Do you think? I think it's a great field. I debated on it when God gave me the gift of writing. I was like, okay, I'm an extrovert. I don't want to sit in a room and just do like this. One thing I type with, people know I type with two fingers. That is all I can do. I can take a class. I go take a class and typing, but I actually like almost every chore except for cleaning bathrooms. I count it as penance. But I do love to write now because one thing is you have your own hours. You have
Yes.
your own hours. You can write on the beach, you write at home,
Right.
you write on vacation. And then for another thing, you meet such interesting people because they have a creative spirit around them that makes them unique to this world. I have a gripe about the world, Maria. Everyone goes like, it's common sense. It's common sense. I go, can you not think of another word? Like in the writer's field, we all know 1,000 words that can make sense than common sense. We don't have a script and we all write the same. It's one of my pet peeves. So Maria does a day job too. I don't want her to forget that later on. Remember to tell them what you really do in real
Yes.
life. This is her life as a writer. And Catholic Writers Guild, I, for one, want to go really bad. I'm praying that my husband will take me or I'll take a plane and go. And it's in Chicago. Where will it be at?
It'll be at the Chicago O'Hare Holiday Inn, the
Okay.
Holiday Inn O'Hare.
So you get off the plane, you're there. Just right there or
Yeah,
no?
yeah. I need to look into that. I
Okay,
need to
I'm
look
sorry.
into that.
I have a common habit of putting the guest on air and then I might surprise them with a question. Yeah, that'd be great. Please put that out because I would love to know for my own self. I do not travel alone as much as I used to when I was younger, not because of my age,
Right.
but like we're retired, so we go place and Pat could always find something to do. But O'Hare, that's my stomping ground. I went to high school in Arlington Heights, Illinois, and it's just a fun city to be in, so
Yeah.
Bria's like, what else they need to know? It's what the weekend again, or the week
Sure,
that it's
it's May 26th through the 28th.
okay.
They are weekdays.
Okay,
And
that's good. Because you're a writer, you have weekdays off. I mean, you have
that's
weekdays.
right. That's right.
You
And
get some.
there's a limit. I believe they can only accommodate 100 people at the conference. So
Wow, is
if
that
you are
small?
interested, yes,
Okay,
if you are interested, it's very important that you register as soon as possible.
okay.
And you can register online at the Catholic Writers Guild website. Just Google Catholic Writers Guild and it will take you right to the website.
Okay, I think that's great. I network with a lot of writers other than Maria in this Catholic Mom group, and I find them all interesting. We had Patrick O'Hare, do you know he is from
Oh,
Tampa City, Florida?
yes.
You know him? He was on yesterday. You have to catch the show. He is a writer, and he writes about the saints. Well, what you wrote about the Rosary, Blessed Mother. I'm right there with him. There's such a lack of knowledge of the saints for the younger generation. I know because I'm old, and then Maria knows because she's middle, and
Yeah.
you're young, and he's a phenomenal human being and a phenomenal writer. And we were trying to tell him all we knew, like, come to Catholic Medical, you'll love that. The younger generation right now is really embracing the faith in such a strong way, but he was almost a priest. You'll see this, you'll
Oh,
see it. So check out my YouTube channel. I'm just going to plug it for them, ellenmongan.com, because the writers that I get on are just outstanding. So Maria, I'm not going to interrupt you anymore. I
that's
promise.
okay.
That's not Latin thing, but I didn't want you to miss that because he wrote some new books. It's like
Yes.
yeah, you know him well. Do you know him or no?
Yes. In fact, I have read his most recent book and I reviewed it, and it was
Good. Okay.
outstanding.
Remind me again, because we just did it yesterday, but I came off.
Humility of the Saints.
Oh, that's what I loved. He talked a lot about that on the show. He talked
Yes.
a lot on the show. And so yes. And I said, I made a joke about humility. He would exuberate. He would show, you meet him and you think this is a very humble man that walks close to the Lord. Same with Maria. So Maria, I'm not interrupting anymore. That was it. The end. No, go on, tell more because I am quite interested in Catholic Writers Guild. Does he know about it? I wonder if he knows as well. I love to see your show.
Yeah, it's a sometimes it's a well-kept secret. I think that a lot of people are just discovering the Catholic Writers Guild. And every
Okay.
time we have a conference, we have more people who are interested and wanting to join because they see what's available.
Is it
And
men and women? Is it two
men
a man?
and women,
Oh, they're right.
and all different genres are represented. I think that's important for people to know too, because a lot of younger Catholic writers are into fantasy novels and sci-fi and even horror novels. There are different aspects of Catholic fiction, and
Hmm.
it runs the gamut, and it is a wonderful variety of voices. And there's even one woman whom I met at the Catholic Writers Guild conference one year who writes the so-called cozy mysteries from a
Oh,
Catholic
fun.
perspective.
I'd be afraid, but still.
So it's unbelievable, just the range that you find within the guild. And the thing that unites us all is our
Okay,
Catholic faith.
that's
And we're
right.
very dedicated to it and very
Yeah.
determined to continue it. So I do encourage you, if you have any interest at all in writing and you are Catholic, please check out the Catholic Writers Guild. You won't regret it.
And I'll try to put something on the show notes if you get it to me before I put the show on. Now, Patrick's
Yes.
on today. I'll put you on later, but would love to include some of that in there if you have any kind of like thing you take a picture of or something. So y'all could join that. A book is a funny thing. It's like when I was a kid, I wasn't a reader. I really
Uh-huh.
wasn't a reader. All these other gals, the little group of 5 Catholic moms, they were all readers, but I wasn't. I read 2 books in high school because I was a studious, so I had so much to do with my homework. That's my excuse. My best friend was a total reader, and so I remember them to this day. One was It Could Happen to Anybody, about unwed pregnancies, and
Uh-huh.
the other one was Black Like Me, and it addressed
Oh, yes.
fact of prejudice. And those 2 books are planted in my heart that I worked at a care praise center to teach my Bible study course while mom. And I also love all colors, sizes, people of all kinds, because I read that book and I was so affected that people had such different views on like me. The late, you remember the book? It's an old book. She
Yeah,
impregnated herself as a woman of color so she could see how it felt, and it didn't feel that good. You know what I'm saying? In those days, it's
yeah,
an old book. So Maria does this, and just to interject here, Maria also has a heart for the unwed mothers. And we're not gonna leave out Catholic moms. They're gonna be our finale, our closing. But really, tell a little bit about that because one of her books is about helping out. Like you don't want to just say, I'll pray for you. You want to roll up your sleeves and get out the mop or the the voice and help these women in some way.
yes. A number of years ago, God put it on my heart to become involved in the pro-life movement. And I was actually called initially when I was in seventh grade, and our teacher took us to our state capitol in Ohio, and we had our own demonstration against Roe versus Wade, the tragic US Supreme Court decision which legalized abortion. And at that time, that was my first experience with a pro-life event. And I was shocked by the fact that these precious babies were being slaughtered. I wish I could tell you that I continued in the pro-life movement, but I got to high school and I don't remember the word abortion ever being mentioned, except if there were rumors that a girl had had one. And in college, I fell under the tutelage of a number of professors who were very pro-abortion. And it was a very difficult time for me, a very confusing time. But then after college, I struck up a friendship with someone who asked me, well, what are you doing for the pro-life movement? And I said, well, I can't do anything because I'm a journalist. And he really challenged me on that point. And so pretty soon I was saying the rosary in the rosary procession to the local Planned Parenthood. And then I became active in our pro-life parish group. Then I helped to start a pro-life group at another parish. And then eventually I wound up working for Ohio Right to Life as a legislative associate. And then a job opportunity opened in Pennsylvania with the Pennsylvania Pro-Life Federation as their education director. I applied for that. I got the position and I moved myself to Pennsylvania with a
So
U-Haul
picture it.
trailer on the back of my car. And I actually got a flat on the U-Haul trailer on my way to my job. And I had to call U-Haul and get assistance. And at that point, I really asked myself, now, do I want to continue on or do I want to head back to Ohio where my parents are? And I decided, no, I'm going to forge on. And I am so glad I did. It was one of the best decisions I ever made. And I worked as education director for a long time. And then a job opened up at the Federation for a legislative director. And I was called into my boss's office and asked by my boss and a member of the board if I would be interested in applying for that position. And I said no, because I was very happy being the education director. But I said, you know what? I just want to do what God wants me to do. And the board member looked at me and he said, well, we think this is God's idea. And so
Oh,
that sold me. And so I applied for the legislative director position and I secured that. And then a couple of years ago, we had our executive director retire. Another gentleman came in and decided that his calling was really the law. And so there was an opening for executive director. And I had been very nervous about taking on that position. I did not know if I could manage people. And I had a lot of trepidation. But then I thought to myself, well, I've been in the pro-life movement for a long time. There is no one who cares about this organization more than I do. So I might as well try it.
oh.
So I was acting executive director for about 6 months, and then the board made me the full-time executive director. And it's been a real blessing in my life. And I've gotten the chance to witness lives being saved and hearts being changed. So
So
much
nice.
help is available to pregnant women now, who are struggling, who are in difficult circumstances, whether it's financial, relationship, shelter, professional, you name it, there is help available for the pregnant woman. And I am so glad to be a part of it.
It's wonderful. I'm sure you meet interesting people and have stories. We could fill up a whole show or a whole day with this because
Yeah.
honestly, it's where the need is right now and where the race is because we things have changed, but not enough. We're still plunging forward. I love that Maria today is her birthday. Happy birthday, Maria.
Thank
Always lovely
you.
at work, and she's doing my show, and I was so blessed to hear when it was her birthday. Her sister also had a birthday this week, right? So
Yes.
shout out to her sister. It's Maria's family. She learned to be family in her home with her mom and dad and her sister and her. And then she spreads that love of what is it to be family? It's to be able to be there when they need you, when they need something, or they need to just have a hug. And she's that person. So no, we need more in the pro-life movement to stand up. Sometimes we are afraid to be the one standing. I said before, probably on the show, that I was afraid to stand and be like a person sidewalk counseling because I was thinking, I talk a lot. We know that. I might say the wrong thing. Get arrested. So I wrote books instead. And there's something you could do. If your gift is just even giving away clothes. I'm going through one box at a time after talking on the show, the team meeting or what it was, Catholic Mom. I said, I'm going through one box of clothes at a time because I said one gal is moving. And I said, just take one box at a time. So I'm going through each drawer, just give away, like get rid of my excess so that someone may think it's a need. And so it's just you never can do nothing, Maria, right? We always say it, you never can do nothing. Everyone
Yeah.
has gifts. You can always do something to fill a need. So I'm so proud of you. And I love that you evolved. You evolved. Like first,
Yes.
first step. That's one of the stories I remember in your book. She has a whole story about the U-Haul, which she started to say it. I just because it was such a precious story. Some people say, "Well, Satan's trying to block this." No, she plunges forward in the grace of the Lord. That's the only thing you go walk in. You walk in the flesh, you're going to find a lot of different things. But if you walk in the grace of the Lord every day, putting your day in His hand, you will live for Christ, and each day will grow stronger. So, Maria, I mean, this is not the last but not least. You can tell I don't have my glasses on because I'm looking at our time. We have a little bit more time, and I'd like to take some time with Catholic Mom because every
Yes.
time I go anywhere, Maria, I go, do you know, like I'll say, do you know Janet Bekovich? They go, no. I go, okay, now her name's Janet Williams. And I say, I think everybody knows the things I know. Do you know this? At least Maria knew. Maria knew Patrick. Patrick, you knew Patrick because that was neat. But not that I don't know about Catholic Mom. And there is something for everyone. I can guarantee. I go down the list, and I don't always read every article that Catholic Mom has because it's daily that you could get something from Catholic Mom once you sign on, right? Daily
Mhm.
information, you get daily reflections. So tell them about Catholic Mom because I started
Sure.
at Catholic Mom writing. That was my from writing Christmas letters every year to my family and friends or 500 close friends. I went to, going with Catholic Mom, and it was Lord nudged me to do it. And they were Faith and Family originally. Do you remember when they were Faith and Family? It was
Yes.
just blogs. And then they evolved. So tell about the Catholic Mom and how they could be a part or just even read and learn from the website.
Sure. So Lisa Hendy was a mom. I believe she had two boys, and she was thirsting for community. And so she decided to create this website, CatholicMom.com, to find other Catholic women who were sharing the joys and the challenges of motherhood. And so she started the website and she solicited articles from individuals who were willing to donate their talents to help build up this community. And now I believe there are more than 140 contributors to CatholicMom.com from all different backgrounds, from really around the world and from all different walks of life. And they approach motherhood in very different ways, but again, they are united by that Catholic faith and by a devotion to Jesus and his mother Mary. And so I began writing for Catholic Mom a number of years ago, and I found it to be just such a wonderful outlet for my writing. And I was very encouraged by the editor there to expand my writing. She said at one point, "You're a very good writer." And I thought that was high praise from her. And so I had seen these other Catholic mom contributors write books and publish books. And I thought to myself, well, maybe I could do that. And so that led me on the path to publication. But you don't have to be somebody who is aiming to write a book to contribute to Catholic Mom. You just have to be a writer who really cares about people, cares about families, cares about the faith. And you can share your insights with these women all across the world. And actually, there are men who also read CatholicMom.com articles. And
And right,
it's very instructive for the entire family. They also have these family-centered activities that they
right.
promote, and exercises, coloring pages for young people, gospel readings for young people. And so it's a one-stop shop for parenting for Catholics. And I just find the articles to be incredible. There are some very gifted writers who write for Catholic Mom, you being among them, Ellen.
We have so much fun
And
here.
they inspire me and they make me want to be a better person, better mother, better sister, better human being.
And
And
if
so
you
I
are a
can't,
writer, oh, so sorry, Maria, I said,
yeah,
if you
that's
are a writer,
okay.
tell the committee if you're a writer, if you, it's a process. You don't just say,
Yes. So
Catholic mom writer.
if you are a writer who is interested in writing for Catholic Mom, I believe that actually on the website that there is a link to some information, and you can apply to become a writer. You do have to go through a process of screening in order to be approved as a writer. But once you're on board, you're contributing maybe 6 articles a year or maybe even more. I know I contribute articles on a monthly basis, and many of my articles are book reviews because I so
Oh, that's
love
good.
books and I want to share what I learn with other people. So as soon as I read a book, I'm eager to let the world know what I thought of it. And Catholic Mom gives me an outlet for doing that. So if you do have a writing talent, if you have a place in your heart for writing and communicating, by all means, check out the CatholicMom.com website and get on board as a writer. We'd be happy to have you.
You know what I like about Catholic Mom too, Maria, is that I was a newbie, so I
Uh-huh.
started out and as I got to know the sisters, I grew from learning, but also they had different things. Like I just started, I was writing a article, contribute like a contributor. And then they asked us who wants to do gospel reflections. Well, I found that I was really more gifted in the gospel reflections because
Uh-huh.
it's only a small little 300 word and
Yes.
I would tell Barb, this is my penance. See, I'm a wordy woman, as she knows, and I have to narrow it down to 300 words. So I found it a challenge each time. And they go to, that's the most popular thing written. There's many women. I
Yes.
don't know how many do the Cost Reflections, maybe but all the sisters I know, they contribute to that. And then
Mhm.
there's some meetings that we all get together, not just for, it's really more of a fellowship meeting, but we learn
Mhm.
too, something of a speaker. And that's occasionally, it's not every time. And now this year we have a little retreat just for the writers coming up, right?
Yes, there's a writers retreat in June in the Boston area, and
See?
it's going to attract people again from all across the country. And it's wonderful to be able to connect with other Catholic writers, other Catholic moms, other people who share your beliefs and your value system. And it's a wonderful time. I hope to be able to attend this year's retreat and connect with people whom I only know online, but I feel like they are fast friends.
Yes. So Maria, did you go last year or no? Just
I
think was
no, I wasn't able to go last year, and I
I
heard
wasn't either.
wonderful things about it.
I did too, but my reason was they do winter last year, and this year they're
Yes.
smart to do not the really cold Boston day. No, it's always fun. When you get older, I'm a retired mother in that all my kids are grown, and I pray more than I say to them. I'm not training up little ones or potty trained, but this year they made a big encouragement to those who are writing for Catholic Mom, try to remember that some of these mothers are young mothers. And so there's a lot of wisdom for the young moms that they can, practicals that they haven't thought of. So that's another asset. And then there was one more thing that they did that was a new thing Catholic Mom was doing. They'll call upon things like woman, you wrote this one, Maria. I read it the other day about
Yes.
Dorothy Day. You have to catch
Yes.
her on Dorothy. It was on purpose because you come on the show. I love Dorothy Day. Here we have a guy, Hank Edmonds, he's a professor, and he often talks about Dorothy Day. And I didn't know her as well. But after reading your article and hearing about Hank talk, I found that was quite interesting. That's called Women in History Month.
Yes. Yes.
And then there's a season when they go, we're going to talk about saints now. So they only let a limited amount of people write, and both things I'm always too late, but to talk about the saints, their favorite saints. I don't read my emails, Maria knows this. I have two email addresses and I don't read either one that often. So I try to hope the Lord will show me, not that it's I call it Dorothy Day, but I decided this year would be my year to not penance, but this is my year to catch up on my emails, be a little more diligent because if you're a writer, you miss a lot of things if you don't do your emails. You might be asked to be on a show I don't. The last thing I was going to say is, as I don't interrupt, because this is part of the show. Last thing I would say is that I personally you could bid for different people want you to critique their book or movies. And so I found I don't watch a lot of movies in real life because a lot of them are really not that worthy of my eyes to see, my little eyes to see, my ears to hear. So they came up with a lot of Christian movies have asked Catholic Mom who would like to, do something with the movie. And I have gotten in a lot of those, Maria. Like right now, I just did one for this month and it's going to be about Venice. Have you probably been to Venice? It's
Oh,
about
yes.
the beauty of Venice. It's called oh, I'm gonna forget the name. I will remember it, but I'm now going to read one about the saints. There's one coming out by EW10. Both are from EW10. And beauty. It's about beauty. Now I wish I could remember the title. That happens to me sometimes. Hey, it's a busy day for me today. I didn't squeeze in this podcast. I usually have nothing on a day, and then all of a sudden everything will come. But it's Maria's birthday, so everyone just what you need to do today is look at the end of the show. She's going to tell where to get a hold of her and where to buy her books, and then just buy a book or two. I'm buying four. I really love the books, and I'm like Maria. When you have a good hairdresser, hairdo by Dee Dee, you want to tell the world. But when you read a book, now do you want to tell the world? It sits in your soul, and when you need to talk, sometimes it will come up. Seeking Beauty. Seeking Beauty is the name of the Venice. It took Venice, Rome, and it was you'll see it on the Catholic Mom. But it was such an interesting movie because I haven't been to Italy but once. And so this one movie star, David Henry, he was a movie star on this documentary about travel. That's what I did. So we are bragging about Catholic Mom, just like our hairdo people, because we are excited about it and we want you to get some glean from it as well. So Maria, what do you want to say? We have maybe 10 minutes. You could have time to say your last words and how to get a hold of you. First, how to get a hold of you and where you
Sure.
can.
If people want to connect with me, they could go to my website, which is mariabgallagher.com. That's mariabgallagher.com. If you're interested in the pro-life movement in Pennsylvania, you can contact me through the website paprolife.org. That's paprolife.org. And if you're interested in my books, Joyful Encounters with Mary, Mercy's Power, Glorious Encounters with Mary, or Healing Encounters with Mary, you just go to the website shopmercy.org. That's shopmercy.org. It's run by the Marian Fathers, and they have
And
tremendous resources about the Catholic faith and about Mary in particular. So I highly recommend that website.
if you
And
want to know about the guild, go to
if you want to find out more
Rose
about
Guild.
the Guild, just Google Catholic Writers Guild and it will take you to their website. And if you want to learn more about Catholic Mom, just go to catholicmom.com. It's as simple as that.
We have chock full of things. This is a very good show because Nori and I talk about just one of her books because we wait till it comes out and then just before it comes out or after we talk about that. But Tammy put in a lot more things. Maria's a wealth of knowledge. She's been through it. Looks, she always has a good smile on her face, but it doesn't mean she was exempt from trials in her life. She's had a trial or two. So if you need, she also is a spiritual director, but it's a different title. It's a
A
spiritual
coach.
counselor. A coach, oh, a spiritual coach.
Yeah.
It's still a Catholic coach, a CC for Maria with a big smile. And you might want to connect with her, find out what that's all about too. She hasn't had time to talk, but maybe you have a few minutes at the end to say. But these are things, you meet people along the way. Sometimes I'll just pray, Lord, I don't know. I never say I need a parking spot because I feel like I like to walk, but I need I don't know, the name of a good something, and God will provide it. So this is your opportunity to meet someone that has walked the walk. She doesn't just talk the talk. She doesn't just say, I heard about that in the Bible. When you know Christ, he allows the word of God to first grow in your soul as you read each day, then to contemplate and think about it, and then to live it out. So on the day that you're having a hard day and you need another person to talk to, that's when you need to surround yourself with Catholic women and Catholic counselors who have the gifts and skills to see you through those hard times. They don't last forever, Maria, do they? It seems like forever. They don't always last forever, but then we climb that mountain and then the view is like, well, Lord, I really was having a hard time with that, but now I see what you were doing all along. It takes a journey. It takes from like point A when the trial knocks on your door and you answer it, and then when it's over, you think that wasn't really long. And it is like that with Maria, don't you think? When you think about it, you go,
Yeah,
this seems like really long. And then, but I'm not saying the world is exempt from tribulation. We have in this world have much tribulation, but God overcame them all. So, Maria,
absolutely.
do you want to close out your fine your what you take your take for the show? What do you think was the most important point?
Well, I think the most important point is perseverance. I think
I
that
love
that
that.
has been a hallmark of my life, and I encourage that in other people because you are going to run up against challenges and trials and tribulations. But know that God is in control, that He's watching out for you, that He loves you more than anyone else on this planet, and that He will provide for you in the most spectacular way possible. You just have to trust in him and surrender to him.
I
So
love
I've
that.
been doing the surrender novena every
Me too.
night.
Me
And
too.
I
We do it
found
every
that
day.
it's very helpful to me. And I get it through the Laudate app on my phone. I also use the Hallow app on my phone.
These are
And
good
these are
wisdoms.
tremendous prayer aids. So I encourage you, if you have an iPhone, consider downloading those apps because they have helped me tremendously in terms of my spiritual journey. And I find that I draw closer to Jesus when I'm praying through those apps.
Mhm.
And I just want everybody to know that there is encouragement available. And if you find yourself stuck and you're looking for some answers in your life, you can consider coaching, spiritual coaching, transitional coaching. I was actually certified by the Professional Christian Coaching Institute, and I am a member of the Communion of Catholic Coaches. And I have been trained in strengths based coaching so that we identify your core strengths out of a list of 34 possible strengths, your top five and top 10, and we see how you can use those strengths in order to fulfill your dreams and to enjoy life that much more. So, if you're interested in any of those things, please contact me through my website again at mariavgallagher.com,
Love
and
it.
I would be happy to connect with you.
Oh, nice. And they always say that cliche, Maria, I do cliches a lot. I didn't know they were doing cliches all my life. It just, I read them in a book, but tell it to Jesus. They always say, tell it to Jesus.
Hmm.
But sometimes, I mean, life gets hard and we have
Yeah,
tears and we feel like we're all alone. And that's when you need a person that's Jesus with skin on to be there for you and to say, I may not know how you feel, but I'm here for you. Sometimes
right.
that's enough, especially if you're facing a trial in the unknown. You've never in your life thought this could happen to you. And then it does. You go, okay, I thought that would never happen to me, but does. And you just have to tell it to Jesus. And sometimes if you don't have that, carrying women all around you, like I have different groups, Maria does too. I know of people that care for you in Christ. You could call their prayer away, phone call to a
Yes.
prayer, but you can always tell to Jesus. Let's start now trying to build that group of strong Catholic women. I always look for people that are smarter than me. Yeah, and all this and they're stronger than me. And then when I have to lean on someone, I'm usually the one people lean on. I'm also a mentor, a mommy mentor, but when you have to lean on someone and you're usually the one they lean on, it can be a little scary. But even if you're the one that needs to lean on someone, get your group going now. We have one friend that I love. She always talks about her posse of saints, and
Yes.
you can have a posse of saints too. That's really important. Allison, we know that is important too, but to find that group of women right near you, maybe next door, maybe one of your neighbors, but in the area where you can take your car and go if you need a cup of coffee and a good cry. So I never know how the show is going to go, Maria. I used to do show notes and it was so much fun. I'd have questions set out, but now we pray before we start and we let the Lord lead. And I think He did lead. I don't know why for some reason it feels like today someone needs to hear the word perseverance and the word that you're never alone in the real sense, because God is always with you. And I feel like, He may seem invisible. Jesus is invisible. We can't see Him here. We do hear Him and we read His word and we also hear Him in church and through our friends. But He's always with you. And there's others that want to be with you too and walk you through a deep valley so that you could say, I made it to the other end. And oh, the view is so good. So trust in Jesus, persevere, and that's my word. And nice having you on your birthday. Send her a card, a letter. Happy birthday, Maria. I just always want to sing how do you the songs from Sound Music with Maria. She's
Yes.
she's a real deal. She's a truth teller and she loves the Lord. And she writes from her soul, not from her head. That she could write from her head because she's had all the training and she can do that too, but she does write from her heart. And that's a genuine person you want to meet. So have a great day. Ellen Mongan, host of Go Tell the World, and Maria, co-host today of Go Tell the World. And now it's your turn. What are you going to tell the world today? I'll see you on the other end. Have a great day. And I'm closing off at this moment. So, Maria, we sing to you happy birthday as I close, or no?
Okay.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. This is what I bring out the glasses. To you. That's my voice. I told them I don't have a good voice. I sing anyway. So this is good. So may God bless you and have a great, okay, but nope, that wasn't it. So here we go. Bye. Love you. I'll be late otherwise. You'll be late too. We love you. Bye.